Hey there. Welcome to the weather, the Astro weather, November 10th. What have you got for us? Okay. So, Mercury stations retrograde today at 6:01 a.m. This is Melbourne time. Okay. So, get ready for that. All right. It is stationing retrograde in Sagittarius. Okay. So, what else are we dealing with? 2:47 a.m. we have this semi-square to Uranus. Okay, now Uranus is back in Taurus, moved there on the 8th. So with Uranus back in Taurus, this idea of what needs to shift, what needs to change, where we need to pivot moves from this Gemini energy, which is about information and communication and, speaking and really like Gemini ruling over the lungs. So everything to do with the lungs and the hands, like where are we putting our things to work? How are we finding information? How are we tracking it down? Okay. And it moves into Taurus. So we start going back into these Taurus related themes when it comes to the Uranus fuckery. Okay. So Taurus related themes, second house themes, money, value, stubbornness, stability, security, abundance, beauty, right? Balance, Venus related things. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Okay. So 29 degrees brings a bit of a crisis. Okay. And we're closing out this Uranus in Taurus that we had for 8 years from May 2018 until when were we? July 7. Okay. So have a think back, right? Have a think back to what sort of things within your home, within stability, within how you earn money, within, the way you show up in the world, how you feel safe of that. What big changes have kind of happened since then? Okay. I might do a whole other video on this so we can go through some of the aspects to check. But okay, this semi-square, and we're like 2 minutes in and we're getting into this first aspect. So this semi-square is happening with the moon at 14 degrees of Cancer and Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus. Okay, now 14 degrees is a Taurus degree as well. And if you've never met a Cancer energy person, then let me tell you, they are as equally as fucking stubborn. Okay, so this semi-square is 2 stubborn signs, one more on the watery emotional, one more on the earth-based. I don't really know how to say it without, making fun of you Tauruses. But it's really like an earth-based privileged kind of energy, okay? So in some ways, both of these energies are somewhat privileged, all right? Cancer because it's like the kind of baby energy, and Taurus because it's the earth sign that just assumes it should get the unconditional love that a mother gives it, right? So this semi-square is really looking for like stability, but emotional stability. And it's sort of a crisis point here of really needing to see something. And the reason that this crisis point is going to be so important for some people is because over the last couple of months, we've really been asked to look at a number of things within the family space from the past, how they run authority in the current time, what we think our idea of family is. And so this one is, something needs to be let go of, like an outworn situation. So how you've been doing something, how you've been seeing something in relation to your security when it comes to having your emotions, right? And being nurtured for. Now, we'll be asleep down here in Melbourne, 2:47 a.m. So you might be having some weird dreams. Your mum might come up in your dreams, just saying, okay? So this trine to the node at 16 degrees, which is a Cancer degree, this one is where we are, we come to terms with the fact that the North Node represents a discomfort zone, represents something that we're here to learn. And we can move forward, right? We have this nurturing energy for self and how we nurture ourselves and how we mother ourselves, right? And this could, for a lot of people, this might really sink in, moving or changing something within your home or really wanting to make your home the safe place, right? And then the sun trines the moon at 7:25 a.m. So that's a nice way to wake up, right? And at the Leo degree, 17 degrees. So we are feeling confident, right? We are feeling confident. We're feeling confident about our feelings too, right? Sun in Scorpio really lighting up things that would normally be taboo. and the moon in Cancer are really just confidently loving on us. So this is a really great way to wake up, okay? Now, this next one, this moon sesquiquadrate to Mars, okay, that's going to be the moon at the Virgo degree. So it can be a little bit fucking nitpicky, okay? A little bit egotistical as well when it mixes with that Cancer moon. And honestly, you might be feeling like your feelings are the only important feelings in the world. Okay. So that's where we get this kind of energy from, because a sesquiquadrate really is saying to you something, you've been obsessive about something, you've been compulsive about something, right? You need to make a decision because you're fucking stuck doing the same thing over and over again. And this is Mars, right, at 3 degrees. So the Gemini degree, we're being asked to be curious. But I always find it interesting when we get this 3 degrees in Sagittarius, because Gemini and Sagittarius are opposing energies. And Mars and Sag both being kind of fire related and Gemini being air related. So they do kind of stir things up. But this is really like move forward in your journey and find the information that you need, right, to be able to prove that where you're going is true for you, okay? And a decision may have to be made then, right? You might find that somebody is requiring you to make a decision about where you want to go, right? Maybe within the workplace, maybe within moving, right? These sorts of things. Now, this 1:55 p.m., this is some shit that we do not fucking see very often, okay? So witches, listen the fuck up, okay? Saturn retrograding at 25 degrees of Pisces, okay? That is the Aries degree. And Lilith at 25 degrees of Scorpio, right? This is a very I am energy, okay? This is Saturn, right? Karmic taskmaster, master of time, keeper of time. And he wants some discipline, right? This whole retrograde Saturn in Pisces is really about making sure that your inner belief system, the way that you judge yourself, the way that you find your discipline is open to go with the flow of whatever you require in that point of your evolution, right? Saturn normally is very strict. And when we get this Saturn in Pisces, even though they don't really like each other, because Saturn is very strict, likes boundaries, Pisces not about it. Pisces not about boundaries at all. So these energies are really working together here. There is a natural harmony between Pisces and Scorpio. And at this I am degree, it's really asking you to just look at your own personal expression, right? Look at where you want to go and really lock in, right? Saturn wants to know how long you think it's going to take. Saturn wants to know how much work have you done. Okay, so when we're dealing with Lilith and Scorpio, we are uncovering and unrejecting parts of ourselves in regards to Scorpio energy. So in regards to how we transform, in regards to our sexual energy, our creative potential, right? And it's really saying like, stop feeling that shame. And this aspect is really Saturn, like lock something in here. Find some kind of untapped ability in this mixture of rules and, you know, mysticism and magic and overcoming trauma. Like this particular energy is, it's there, you can explain it in so many ways. So sorry, I'm a little bit lost for words. It's just not one that we deal with very often, okay? And like Saturn and Lilith, there's a little bit of a karmic energy to these. Okay, so let's not forget that we are, you know, Scorpio and Sag right now are the big energies. The sun is also in Scorpio, but we are going through this Mercury retrograde that is going to involve Scorpio as well. So we are finding out all of these truths, right, about ourselves and about other people. And this aspect is kind of wanting this discipline moving forward where you are cooperating with your rejected self, where you are really understanding that the traumas that you have been through, that you need to have your own boundaries to protect yourself from them happening again, that you need to have your own boundaries around what shame and guilt means to you, and to not allow other people's opinions or thoughts of what they are to come in and overtake your own thoughts and opinions, okay? And that's when we get this 2:29 p.m., this sesquiquadrate to Mercury. Now, this, we are looking at details here, 6 degrees being a Virgo degree, but this is likely to be overthinking and really looking into what kind of habits we need, right? Because 21 degrees of Cancer is like this journey of emotions, right? 21 degrees being a Sagittarius degree. And so the moon in Cancer is on an emotional journey, and Mercury in Sagittarius is at 6 degrees on a very analytical, very critical, very detail orientated journey, right? And it's, what are you thinking about? What are you locking in? What is the journey of your thoughts right now? How are you giving and receiving communication? Okay, now remember, Mercury has stationed retrograde at the Virgo degree of Sagittarius. So I'm just doing a heads up for my fellow Virgo friends, Geminis as well. Mercury is stationed retrograde and our brains are not working properly. If you have a lot of Virgo or Gemini energy in your chart, you are not going to be able to think straight for the next 5 to 6 weeks, okay? Pay attention to what secrets are coming up. Pay attention to what truth you are questioning, okay? So then 3:19 p.m., something within a relationship, and because this is a semi-sextile, this does actually feel quite like a nurturing aspect right now. A semi-sextile, it's not a really, it's not a big aspect. It is, you know, on the minor side, right? Like it's not counted as a major aspect, but it is a minor aspect. And a semi-sextile is really, like, it wants to be positive, but it can be fucking annoying, right? Because it does make things a little bit hard to understand. And this energy really reads to me, 3:19 p.m., that there is some kind of stability or security within your relationship that makes you feel comfortable in all of your spicy goodness, right? Because Scorpio and Sag are a little bit of a spicy, right? And Mars is about your sexual energy as well. So this aspect is really about feeling safe and feeling nurtured and really being able to move forward in a relationship dynamic through things that you maybe didn't want to talk about in the past. You've maybe not had partners that you could talk about in the past. Now, if you are a singular person and you do not have a partner at the moment, this could really be that inner mentality shift that you have been working towards, of like why relationships never feel like they see all of you, why they never feel like the adventure that you want. And this is a really great time to explore those things, okay? Check where Scorpio and Sag are in your chart, and yeah, see what's going to be coming up. So 5:51, and a little bit of a fucking mental health, really it's an emotional health warning on this evening, because that square to Chiron can be quite rough, and it's happening at 23 degrees, which is an Aquarius degree. And so it is really about how you felt too weird, too different, too strange, too much as a child, right? Because Chiron at 23 degrees of Aries is a childhood wound that affects your identity by making you feel like you're too much of an outsider, okay? And so when it's coming up against this moon in Cancer, it's very much related to the family space, especially because Jupiter is there, okay? So then we get this moon conjunct Jupiter. And so even though that square to Chiron could be quite rough, it's actually in between some really fucking excellent energy. So this is a great one for the magic times as well, because Cancer energy obviously very related to the moon, and Jupiter is there expanding everything and is about to station retrograde. So whatever you're kind of conjuring up, whatever it is you're wishing to come in, this energy that we are in on the evening on the 10th, because on the 12th, very early in the morning, Jupiter stations retrograde, okay? So these ones, this is a really positive evening. So don't let that square to Chiron, that childhood wound shit, don't let that fuck up your evening, okay? So moon conjunct Jupiter at the Aries degree, then trine Saturn, then trines Lilith. Absolutely fucking insanity. Okay. For the emotionally sensitive, for the spiritually sensitive, you are going to be quite open to this energy. Okay. And really, from that trine to Lilith, 1:55 p.m., all the way down to here. Okay. To this 8:43 p.m., where we get the moon trining Lilith. This is the window of opportunity for the witches, especially those that I have been yelling at about 29-degree Pisces placements, okay? Because this one is also being somewhat lifted up with that 29-degree Uranus, all right? So all of these 25 degrees, I want you to understand that that is an Aries degree, okay? So that is an instigation degree. That is the start of something, the start of moving forward towards your vision, towards your goal, towards your manifestation. And that is why I am so loud on making sure that you are using this energy, right? So Cancer, what is Cancer energy related to? It's related to the mother. It's related to family. It's related to birth. It's related to moon magic. It's related to repressed emotions. Okay. So this kind of energy, especially when we get Pisces and then we get Scorpio added in, this grand water trine at the Aries degree is trying to light a fucking fire under you, light a fucking fire under your manifestation or your wish, especially if it involves these sorts of things. Okay. So if you have a Jupiter in Cancer, and you're not using this, you need a fucking smack. Okay. If you have got any kind of big Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio placements, especially if it's like your Neptune, your ninth house, anything like that, and you're not using that, you are fucking wasting it. Okay. This is very lucky energy. This is very lucky energy. And this conjunction to Jupiter, that's really going to set the tone for what the retrograde looks like for you, okay? Because we're going to go back through. So we're going to go from this Aries degree through the Pisces degree as well. So we're going to go backwards into this like integration energy. So we've had this expansion of family and we've had a lot of fucking traumatic shit coming up during that time. And so when we have this one and then it goes retrograde, it's like this expansion of like what you fucking wanted when you were a child, how you should have been mothered, how you should have been nurtured, how you should have been loved and cared for and made to feel secure. And we have let go of the version of us that we were before the end of September last year. So whatever you thought was true may not be true anymore. And these particular aspects are telling you that they're not fucking true. Okay. How you want to be parented and how you want to be loved and nurtured and mothered and feel safe in your own home is up to you. And this is where we start seeing that. What do I want? Who am I? What am I? And what do I need for nurturing? And how do I fucking get it, right? Because a conjunction, it wants, like, these two things want to express themselves, right? These Cancer energies, they want nurturing, but they also, like, they want to merge, right? The moon and Jupiter want to merge, and these Cancer energies, the moon in Cancer and Jupiter in Cancer, everything here wants to merge together. So I always think that Aries is very related to Cancer energy because Cancer energy does have, you know, it's kind of the baby of the water signs, right? It has a lot of emotions. It feels emotions really intensely. And Aries is the baby of the zodiac, right? So it is this energy of really being able to be the child again, be reborn again, and really be able to give yourself what you want. And then we get this trine to Saturn, and that allows us to really lock in that mentality, to be disciplined about what it is we want and really understand what that journey looks like. And then this trine to Lilith is helping us do so without feeling shame or guilt and without leaving behind the rejected parts of us that we were taught to reject as children. Okay, so it's an absolutely fucking stunning day. Okay, there is a little bit of stress, okay, around how you're moving when you're overthinking, around some mentalities that need to be lifted. And then there is that square to Chiron. But all in all, this is a huge day for really locking into how it is you want to be treated and loved in your own home and what that fucking means. Okay. And if you don't know what to do with the energy, and if you're not someone who's witchy and you watch this anyway, then my advice is to create a space in your home or garden that is filled with love, that is filled with security, that is somewhere that you can go, you know, to sit down and have a nice cup of tea or do some meditation, but something that really connects you to the emotional and spiritual side of this world. I'm stoked about this energy and I can't fucking wait to really feel it, to really feel our way through it. If you want me to help you with your birth chart, come and book a reading. Otherwise, enjoy that. Enjoy that evening.